You Season 4 is lurking around the corner, much like our beloved Joe Goldberg. Or wait, should we call him Will Bethelheim? Or was it Nick? It's getting pretty hard to keep up with all the running that Joe's been doing. Now that we're getting a whole new season of Joe's creepy life, here's everything you can expect from You Season 4. Let's dive straight into the real deal. Is Joe in Paris or in London? As far as we remember, Season 3 ended with Joe fleeing off to Paris after faking his own death, murdering his wife Love Quinn, and giving away his son to a library co-worker. Whew, that was so difficult to put into words. Now Netflix played a new trick on us. The official Instagram account for You posted a photo of Joe on the streets of London. What is he doing here? Is he looking for his latest obsession, or has he followed someone down here? You began back in New York City, where he killed his ex-girlfriend Guinevere Beck, among others, and then ran to Los Angeles. In LA, he met Love Quinn, who was just as unhinged as Joe himself. When the creepy duo got pregnant, they decided to get married and move to the elite suburban nightmare of Madre Linda. Even though Joe and Love had a baby boy by the time they were in Madre Linda, their body count simply would not stop rising. So obviously their marriage ended explosively, quite literally, and Joe ran off to Paris. But he did not go to Paris without a goal. He went in search of his former boss and latest obsession, Marianne. Apparently, Joe's time in the city of love did not last too long, but we do wonder what brought him to London. Have you watched the trailer? That's a trick question. Unfortunately, there's no trailer for the 4th season of You yet. Netflix is famous for its tricks like releasing trailers just a few weeks before dropping the season, so maybe we can't expect to see a full trailer by summer or early fall. We've only seen one picture from the set yet, though. There was a pile of books on a chair next to Penn Badgley, all of which pointed to the streets of London. Oliver Twist, Great Expectations, and Sherlock Holmes all have a great British vibe. We're just wondering how many murders Joe will have to cover in those posh streets now. Who's returning to the show? Well, first of all, it's obvious Penn Badgley, or Mr. Joe Goldberg himself. We really wonder if any other actors could embody the crazy psycho personality of Joe as well as Penn did. He really makes you empathize with a serial killer who's been on a killing spree since the very first season. It's quite the talent if you ask us. Unfortunately, we probably won't be seeing his wife, Love Quinn, played by Victoria Pedretti, return to the show. If it isn't obvious after watching the nerve-wracking Season 3 finale, then you should know that Love Quinn is dead. Love died in a gas explosion set off by Joe himself after he wrote a suicide note on her behalf. And need we mention, this was all after she tried to poison him to death first. What level of toxic relationship was that? Since Joe is presumed dead for all those living in Madre Linda, it's unlikely that we'll see any of them again in Season 4. The only exception would be Marianne, played by Toddy Gabrielle, aka the librarian who is Joe's latest obsession. Apparently, he moved to Paris only to track her down. If that's true, then Marianne should have started running for her life by now. Even though Joe has successfully moved to some new places, he might go back to California only for his son, Henry. He left Henry behind with Dante, played by Ben Mall, who found the little baby in a cot on his doorstep along with his husband Lansing. One last familiar face that may never leave us alone would be Saffron Burrows as Dottie Quinn. The last we heard of Love's mother was when she was headed to rehab after giving up the custody battle for Henry. But as we already know, Dottie doesn't give up that easy, so she might pop up again, like mother, like daughter. There are some new faces too. Every new season of You brings us an entirely new cast, sometimes because Joe killed half of them, other times because he's run away. Either way, we're happy to introduce some new cast members to You Season 4. First of all, Euphoria star Lucas Gage is set to join the cast as Adam, an American expat in London and an entrepreneur trying to live up to his father's super high expectations. We'll also be meeting Adam's girlfriend, Lady Phoebe, played by Tilly Keeper, who is yet another influencer socialite. Reminds us of someone else we knew back in Madre Linda. Charlotte Ritchie has also joined the cast as Kate, a fierce and intelligent art gallery director. All we know about Kate is that she's best friends with Phoebe, always loyal to her friends, but also an ice-cold beach to everyone else. We've got 2 more cast members joining You, including Amy Lee Hickman as Nadia, who is a loud literature major trying to move on from past mistakes, and Reese, played by Ed Spielers, who's an author turned politician. Apparently, Likely, we'll also be seeing some new investors, aristocrats, investigators, professors, and a prominent paparazzi photographer. Has the news about Joe finally gotten to the press? We'll have to wait and see. What about Henry? Remember Henry, the cute little baby boy whose only mistake is to have parents like Joe and Love? Well, yeah, he's still back in Madre Linda with two strangers. Even though we trust Dante and his husband to take good care of little Henry, we're not too sure how Joe feels about that. On one side, Joe has always struggled with abandonment issues from his own mother. On the other side, he's already abandoned his 1-year-old son. Sounds pretty hypocritical to us. We expect to see Joe feel tremendous guilt for leaving his son behind, and we think it's going to shape his personality for most of season 4. That is, if he isn't too busy locking people up in his infamous cage. Even the writers aren't too sure about when or how Joe would reunite with his son. In one interview, it was revealed that the writers would sit and talk endlessly for hours about whether Joe would come back to California for Henry. Will Joe finally face consequences? Now that we're reaching season 4 of You, we think it's safe to say that Joe Goldberg is a straight-up serial killer. He's murdered one too many people over the course of the show, and we keep overlooking it for some reason. So the real question here is, will Joe ever face real repercussions for all the damage he's done? The writers of You revealed that they often think about the possibility that all of the murders Joe's been doing will finally catch up to him, that he would be punished. But the real challenge is to determine what punishment would be the most fitting for him. Should he be killed? That's just too easy. Should he be in jail? Probably wouldn't even affect him. You Season 4 storyline and theme. Season 3 ended with the big revelation that Joe is living in Paris under a new alias, Nick. Now that we know that he's moving to London, he might have failed to fulfill his goal for the City of Love, finding Marianne. Season 4 is set to pick right up where Season 3 ended. Creator Sarah Gamble revealed that the team is exploring some new dark facets of love in the latest season. Our only question here would be, wasn't it dark enough already? As for the theme for Season 4, you can expect it to explore Joe's relationship with himself. You was never supposed to be a story about a serial killer. It's actually about all the mistakes we make in relationships and how they could be taken to the very extreme. Maybe Joe Goldberg teaches us to be less competitive and more empathetic in relationships. All we know is that You is known for its unbelievably bizarre twists and turns, so it's probably a fool's errand to predict the storyline for Season 4. Our only solid guess would be that Joe is going to commit murder. End of story. So, when can we binge it? Looking at all the previous seasons, there's been a pattern of You seasons dropping somewhere in the fall. The third season was released on October 15th, 2021, which was actually 2 years after the second season due to COVID-related filming halts. Now that everything is back on track and the crew is filming internationally, we're super excited to see where Joe builds his creepy cage this time. You'll probably be able to binge watch Season 4 sometime between fall 2022 and early 2023. Still, we'll be waiting for Netflix to announce an official release date soon. And that's all for this video. Why do you think Joe has moved to London? Do you think he'll go back for Henry? Drop all your You theories in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more entertaining content like this. See you next time.